All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Harvey, and I am going to be your moderator tonight. Welcome to our January 2018 Titan Thursday webinar. Patrick Booth is going to be our producer. This week, our topic is applying for foundation scholarships, which will be presented by Katie Carter and Kat Roberts. During this presentation, we ask you to please hold your questions to the end of the presentation. To ask questions via microphone or webcam, you can follow the instructions on the screen here. You can just raise your hand, and when it's time for questions, I will identify you and make you live with our presenter. To ask a question via text, just click the event chat button on the right-hand side and submit your question. But again, we're hoping tonight you can hold your questions until the end of the session. For all of you attending us live tonight, we are going to have a drawing for a $20 Target gift card. You'll get one chance to enter just for joining us live tonight. If you participate in the session this evening, you'll get an additional chance, one chance for entering a question via text, or two additional chances to win for entering a question via audio or video. You must stay until the end of the presentation to get the link to enter your chance, or to get the link to the website, which will allow you to enter for your chance to win. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our presenters, Katie and Kat.
Thanks, Chris. And thanks for having us this evening. As Chris mentioned, I'm Katie, and this is Kat. We are from the Foundation Department, and we are here to tell you a little bit more about Foundation scholarships and how to apply for them. So what are Foundation scholarships? These are scholarships just for SPC students. So every SPC student is eligible and encouraged to apply. We have over 300 different scholarships, and they have different criteria for each of those. Last year, we awarded over $1.7 million in scholarships to over 2,000 students. This was all done via one easy application.
So I'm sure many of you are wondering, do I even qualify for these scholarships? The answer is yes. Every SPC student qualifies for Foundation scholarships. The beauty of our application is that it's going to automatically match you to any scholarship you're qualified for just based on the information you put into your application. So there's no sifting through a long list of scholarships trying to figure out which ones you're qualified for. In addition, not all of our scholarships are based on financial need. So the FAFSA is optional, but we highly recommend completing one anyway, because for those scholarships that do require a financial need, you're going to need to have completed a FAFSA. And as Katie mentioned, we have over 300 different scholarships, all with different criteria. This ranges from academic achievement to specific program of study, community and club involvement, the list goes on. So you can see that we have a scholarship for every type of student. So let's take a look at the application. The current open application is for the summer 2018 term. It's going to close Friday, February 23rd. And if you're interested in applying for the fall 2018 term, that application for the new 2018-2019 academic year will open April 2nd and close May 18th.
Okay. So once you go to our website, which is spcollegefoundation.org/apply, you're going to log in using your SPC email address. That's the one that ends in @live.spcollege.edu and your MySPC password. So once you do that, you're going to be brought right here into the application. At the top here, we have some general information for you and some instructions, but if you scroll down, you'll begin to see some of the questions that we have. So the first question here is one of the most important. This is where you're going to indicate all the terms for which you are applying. So since we're at the end of the academic year here, if you're just applying for the first time, you're just going to be checking the box for summer 2018. But if you'll be returning this fall, as of April 2nd, you'll be able to click all three boxes and your application will be good for a full academic year. So since we're just doing summer right now, I'm just going to leave that one clicked. And as you scroll through, you're going to see some basic information here. It's pretty much like a job application: name, phone number, email address. You'll see some questions have asterisks and some do not. Those with asterisks are required. Those that do not have asterisks are optional, but as Kat mentioned, this is an automatic system. So the more information you give it, the better it's going to be at filtering you into applications that you qualify for. So we're going to scroll through here, show you the different kinds of questions that we'll ask. You'll also notice that every once in a while there's an information button. This means that there's some general information to help you answer that question better. For instance, here we're asking for what is the best phone number to contact you at. If we have a question about your application, we'll want to get in contact with you as soon as possible. So I'm just going to continue to scroll through here so you can see some of the types of questions that we ask. And for the employer section, I want to expand a little. You're going to see here that we ask you to list any current employment or future employment you plan to hold. And that's because if you're filling this out in April and it's going to be used for the fall, spring, and summer terms, you may have a job now, but a different one then, or know of a new job that you're getting. So you can add that information here. You want to fill this out for the term that's coming up. So you might have more than one answer. So let me continue to scroll through here. And some other questions that we ask, we'll ask about your major. Again, it says here, when do you or will you attend classes? Because you are filling this out in advance. And the great thing about this application is if you are filling it out in April, you don't need new essays, you don't need a new letter of recommendation. It can be used for the full academic year. Once you get down here, you'll see that we do ask if you're involved with any community service, any clubs or programs. We have several campus clubs and programs listed that you can check off. But if you're in something that isn't listed, or if you participate in something outside of the college, you can go ahead and add that information here. And if you're involved in more than one, feel free to brag about yourself, let us know everything you're into, and continue to add. You can add quite a few here if you're involved in lots of activities. Below that, again, we want you to brag about yourself, give us as much information as possible. Here you can add any achievements and honors you might hold. Those can be from high school, college, your employer, but again, you can just click add another answer to be able to add multiple things here. Once you get through there, you get to the essay portion of our application.
So this is the most important part of your application. You may notice the application says there's a maximum of 350 words, but this is really just a healthy guideline and you won't be cut off if you go over. You should take the time to write more than 2 or 3 sentences, but shouldn't feel obligated to write a novel either. Because the essays are what sets you apart from other applicants, we do suggest doing some brainstorming ahead of time and creating an outline to ensure your thoughts are well organized and that you've answered the question. Typing your essays in Word first is also a must. This allows you to not only save a copy for yourself, but will ensure you're free of grammar and spelling errors. Also, the application will time out after 30 minutes, which will result in losing any unsaved work. By typing directly into Word, you can take your time, save, and print a copy for someone to proofread for you. Again, I stress the importance of taking your time with these essays. This is the only way for our reviewers to really get to know you and learn about any struggles or opportunities that you've experienced in the past or currently. What makes you stand out? That's what you should be writing about. So moving on to the letter of recommendation, this can be submitted by anybody who has access to email, though it should come from somebody who knows you personally and who can speak about your academic ability. This can be an SPC instructor, mentor, advisor, supervisor at work, or even somebody from your community. If you don't feel you have a personal relationship with anyone here at SPC, do not hesitate to explore other options outside the college. All you need is one, so don't limit yourself on the possibility to receive a scholarship over the simple requirement. We suggest reaching out to the person you would like to use and asking for their permission first. So once they've agreed to write you a recommendation, you simply click Add a New Reference, then type in their name and email address. If you've chosen someone at SPC, it's extremely important to note that you may not use their My Courses email address, since these are not compatible with the online recommendation form. Instead, you just look up their regular SPC email using the contact directory on our website. After you've confirmed the spelling is correct on both the name and email, you can click Save and Keep Editing at the very bottom of your application. This will automatically send your reference an email, and I do recommend checking with your reference shortly after to confirm that the email has been received. Once they've submitted their online form, you will want to make sure the reference name currently showing in the box is in a submitted status rather than requested. A requested status is not complete and will not fulfill this requirement. If you have sent a request out to more than one person, you will need to make sure that your active reference is one that is submitted. Your entire application will be incomplete if your active reference at the time of the deadline is still showing as requested, even if you have another reference that's submitted. I will always send a series of reminders leading up to the deadline to those students whose applications or letters of recommendation are still incomplete. So if you receive a reminder and need some help, or would just like either Katie or myself to double check your application, please do not hesitate to let us know. So once you have finished all of the required questions on the application, you'll be able to click Finish and Submit. Keep in mind, even if your reference hasn't completed their portion yet, you will still be able to submit your application. You can also go back and make changes to your application after this, as long as they are saved before the deadline. You'll now notice that since your general application is complete, you will be prompted to check out some of our additional scholarship opportunities.
So these, again, once you finish that general application, are additional opportunities for which you can apply. These are a little different than our general application because these do change from semester to semester. So you're going to need to check each semester to see which new applications you can apply for. These are different from our general application in that they're pretty specific, so they require additional questions or two. So you'll scroll through this list. It won't take you very long. There's maybe 1 or 2 pages typically. And you'll usually be able to tell from this short little description whether or not it's something that you should apply for. So for instance, you can see this scholarship here says it's for a nursing student. In this case, let's say I'm not a nursing student, so I'm going to continue to scroll through the list. I can see that this is for a student majoring in music. So I'm going to go ahead and click apply because I am majoring in music. That'll bring up the supplemental questions. Like I said, usually just 1 or 2 quick and easy yes or no questions. You can answer that, click finish and submit, and now you've just applied for an additional opportunity. Once you click finish and submit, it's going to take you back to that list of scholarships so you can continue to see if there's anything else that you might be eligible for. As you scroll through, you might notice from time to time that you can't tell just by reading the short description if you're eligible or not. If you click on the link for that scholarship, you'll be able to see the full description as well as the supplemental questions. From there, if it sounds like something that you can apply for, then you go ahead and click apply, and just like before, the supplemental questions will appear and you can click finish and submit once you've answered. This is really important just to give you a couple more scholarships that you might be eligible for. A lot of students sometimes just fill out the general application, which is great because that is going to filter you into over 300 different scholarships, but it's worth taking a look through this list to see if there's anything additional that you might qualify for. It doesn't hurt. The more, the better.
So now that you're familiar with the application process, Katie and I have come up with a small list of important tips to help make sure you have a great application. So number 1, know your deadlines. Again, the summer 2018 application deadline is Friday, February 23rd. So don't wait until the 22nd or the 23rd to start your application or to send a request out to a reference. Our deadlines are firm, and this ensures fairness for all students. So if you ask us questions after the deadline, there's not going to be much we can do to help you. Number 2, follow directions carefully. As Katie showed, there's some information boxes as you go through the application, but if you have any other questions, we do have step-by-step instructions at spcollegefoundation.org/apply. Number 3, ask questions. It is our job to help you. Katie and I do this every day, all day, so don't feel like you're inconveniencing us by asking us questions. We want to make sure you're getting the most out of your application. Number 4, proofread. From things as small as capitalizing your first and last name to making sure your essays are grammatically correct, proofreading is extremely important, and you should have multiple people reviewing your application before the deadline. Number 5, be honest. There's no wrong answers. We're not looking for one type of student. We're not trying to ask you to fit into a certain mold. Again, we have over 300 different scholarships, all looking for different students. So just be yourself. Number 6, make sure your reference knows you and is prepared and willing to write a recommendation for you. If they're having any trouble submitting the form, please don't hesitate to give them our contact information. We'd be happy to help them along. And number 7, I'll say it again, please put time into your essays. Pretend you're sitting face-to-face with your scholarship donor and you want to let them know what's important about you and why you need their support.
All right, so let's say you've applied, you got that letter of recommendation in on time, the deadline was a week ago, what happens next? Well, we have over 100 different review committees that are going to meet and comb through every application that we received. Once they've come up with their selections, we will then send those over to financial aid for processing. And once they're done with their process, they'll let us know the outcomes. Once we get those, we'll start notifying you via SPC email. So it's important that you check your SPC email that ends in @live.spcollege.edu. We will let every student who completed a foundation scholarship application know whether or not they're going to be receiving a scholarship. This is also where we'll send any questions we might have or alerts at all. So you want to make sure you're checking that email often. And then if you are selected, please submit a thank you letter. This can be done very easily. In your award email, you're actually going to have a link that you can click, complete that letter for your donor. This is going to let your donor know how thankful you are for their generosity, remind them why they donated to begin with, and hopefully inspire them to continue to do so to benefit SPC students. So once again, as a reminder, if you're going to be going to school over the summer, we urge you to get into your application now, get everything filled out, get that letter of recommendation in and submitted before February 23rd. Or if you're taking the summer off and you'll be back this fall, that application will open on April 2nd.
So here's our contact information and also a link to the website. This is going to be posted in the chat as well. So I think we're going to go ahead and open up for questions at this time. Looks like we've got one. Can we submit more than one recommendation? You're only going to be able to use one recommendation. So even if you send the request out to multiple people, only the person that you currently have selected at the time of the deadline will be the recommendation that's reviewed.
And then we have another question here for letters of reference. How do we submit? So this is all done online through the application. There's no more paper letters that someone has to sign and send in. When we were going through the application, you might have seen that you're going to put in the name and the email address of the person that you'd like to complete that for you. As soon as you save or submit your application, an email is going to be shot off to them with a survey that they fill out. As soon as they fill that out, it's going to automatically be attached to your application.
So next question, what if you can't get a reference from someone at SPC? That's fine. You can use anybody. We really want you to get creative, think outside of the box. Maybe it's somebody from church or community, somebody who you work with outside of the school, somebody from high school. It can really be anybody who has access to email. So please don't limit yourself thinking that we're only looking for recommendations from SPC faculty.
Great question. Okay, so what else can be included in the application essay? Really anything you want. You know, this is your time to shine. This is where you can let the reviewers know who you are, what brought you here, what are your goals, what are your aspirations, did you have to overcome any obstacles to get here, did you have some great opportunity, maybe you got a scholarship that brought you here and now you need more to continue to your education. So it's really, I mean, this is where it gets personal, so it's really up to you. We do have those questions as guidelines and you want to answer those, but feel free to fill that in with anything else that you might want the donors to know and the reviewers to know.
Let's see if we have any other questions here. I might have missed it. If we filled all this out last year and did not get a scholarship, do we need to do another essay and recommendation? So if you filled it out for the fall 2017 term, your essays and recommendations should still be good at this point since we're in the same academic year. However, if you filled it out for last summer, that would have been in the last academic year. So yes, you will need a new letter and some essays. But if you have any questions, you can contact us after the live viewing, and we can pull up your application and let you know if it's good to go for the summer term.
Okay, so the next one here says, are some of the scholarships grade-based? What if you're in your first year? Is it wise decision to apply for scholarships? Yes, all students should apply for scholarships. Every student is eligible. Some do require certain GPA, some do not. And we have over 300 different scholarships with different criteria for each. So maybe there's one that requires you to be a senior with a 3.5. You're not going to get that one, but there's going to be a slew of others that you might be eligible for, so definitely apply.
And are St. Petersburg Collegiate High School students eligible for this? So we want everybody to apply. Even if you're not 100% sure if you're going to be eligible, we want you to apply anyway. And then if you have questions down the road, or if we hit any speed bumps, we'll be able to help you along when we get there.
So, and this kind of goes with the other one. This is dual enrollment students. Again, you're eligible to apply. I know that some of your fees are covered, so that might be taken into consideration, but it doesn't hurt. I mean, it doesn't take too long to fill out the application, and it could really benefit you in the end.
Do I have to go full-time during the summer to apply for the foundation scholarship? No. Only some of our scholarships have credit requirements. So if you end up being considered for a scholarship that requires 6 or 12 credits and we see that you're not quite enrolled in enough yet, we'll actually reach out to you and let you know that you're a finalist and give you the opportunity to either enroll or to enroll in more credit hours.
All right. Let's see here. I received a letter of recommendation from a professor last semester, received a scholarship and was unable to attend the fall semester. Do I need another recommendation for this application? So if you received a letter that was good for the fall 2017 term, then that will still be good for summer 2018. Again, if you want us to double check for you, we're more than happy to. Send us an email, give us a call. It takes us just a couple minutes to pull you up and make sure that everything looks good. We would much rather you do that. We make sure it's in perfect condition before February 23rd. Then you reach out to us the next week, and then we find out that maybe you had one submitted and one requested but didn't have the right one selected. It's a little tricky, so we're happy to make sure that that's working out for you. But it should be good if that's all correct, but let us double check for you.
What if you're planning on majoring in mathematics? Great. We're looking for students who are in any type of program. Of course, there's scholarships that are only looking for students in specific programs, but the vast majority of our scholarships are open to all types of students. So that's definitely not going to hinder your chance of receiving a scholarship.
And we have a question here. Is student employment considered involvement, like a club, etc.? So we do have the employment section on the application, and if you are employed, we definitely want you to fill that information in. That's something that the reviewers do take into consideration. I mean, if you're going to school full-time and working full-time and, maybe you are involved in something else, maybe you're not because you don't have time, that's fine. We definitely want you to include that because that just shows, how much you're doing in order to be able to get your education.
It was said there was 300 scholarships and I'm only getting 36. Does that mean I'm already applying for all others? So yes, when you've completed your general application, there's a huge list of scholarships that you're automatically already being considered for. The shorter list that Katie showed you are those apply to scholarships. Those are the ones that you're going to have to go in one by one and apply for. But you're already going to be put in the pool for all of the other scholarships that we have.
Okay, so we have, do I have to be full-time in the fall specifically? You don't have to be full-time in the fall. You don't have to be full-time on any term. You're going to select the button as to what your enrollment status is, and we have scholarships for every one of those ranges. But if you were happen to be selected for something that requires you to be in at least 12 credits, we're going to reach out to you and let you know, hey, you're a finalist for the such and such scholarship. it looks like you're only enrolled in 6 and it requires 12, and give you the opportunity to let us know or if you're going to be able to enroll in more or if not.
Is the essay for the questions listed on the app? Yes, it is. We may have skimmed over it, but there are 2 different essay questions. They're both really general, so you shouldn't have any problem finding an answer for them.
All right. Hi, girls. Hi. So the reference letter is actually a survey that has to be filled out. Yes. So it comes to your reference as a survey. I believe it's 10 very quick questions that they're going to have to answer. And then there is a box where they can put additional comments. And that's where the letter of reference you're thinking of could kind of be typed out there. So you would want to encourage that person to go ahead and maybe write a little bit more about you. That's where your more traditional information is going to go, but it is a survey that they fill out and it will take them no time at all. So if you want to let them know, it's going to be real quick and easy, take you like 10 minutes, that would be great.
Next question, am I able to receive scholarship funds if I'm a non-degree seeking student who's taking credits at SPC? So we still definitely want you to apply and complete the application. If you're a finalist for a scholarship and you're not degree seeking, we'll reach out to you and we'll work through it at that time.
And okay, can a church organization be used for clubs? Yes. So in that section, right underneath where you're going to select the boxes for SPC clubs and programs, that's where you can put church organizations, if you give blood, if you work at the food bank, anything like that can be put there. And that's considered an extracurricular activity.
What do I need to do for the summer if I'm taking classes? So if you haven't started your application yet, you'll definitely want to get that started. And just all you need to do is make sure that you have the summer 2018 box checked off on your application, and you'll automatically be considered for all the scholarships that we have to offer.
So the next question here, are there scholarships for different ethnic descent or if you have disabilities? Like we said before, we have over 300 different scholarships with different criteria for each, and we do have many that ask for specific things like majors, clubs, and there's a little bit of everything in there, so definitely apply. But the beauty of the application is that you're going to fill out that one application and automatically be filtered into all of those different scholarships. So you're not going to have to comb through and look for those certain different scholarships to apply for, but we do encourage you to look through those additional opportunities as well.
And this next question, I know Katie just kind of answered it. Is there scholarships for adults 45 years old and returning to school? Yes, we have a scholarship for everybody. So don't feel discouraged if you're in the older age group or you haven't been to school for a while. We've got a scholarship for you, I promise. Just fill out your application, provide as much information as possible, and I'm sure there's going to be something that you're eligible for.
So thank you so much for tuning in and for all of your questions. It looks like we're out of time, so we're going to turn things back over to Chris. But if you do have additional questions, please feel free to reach out. Our emails, our phone numbers are up on the screen and they'll be in the chat. And take it away.
All right, this is Chris again. I know a lot of you did post questions that we didn't quite get to. I am going to see when we post this video and make it available to everybody if we can actually, I'll take the questions that we didn't get to. And we'll see if Kat and Katie can possibly type up text responses that we'll be able to post with those to make sure we get everything covered. We apologize, we just got way more questions than we thought we would. On that note, again, for those of you that are still with us, if you would like to enter for a chance to win our $20 gift card, there's the link right there. I'll go ahead and post it in the text box. You can copy and paste that in as well. One second here. So there you have the link there. Everyone who did submit a text question will get an extra entry. So we'll try, when you fill out the form there to register, it does ask if you use a different name when you fill out, when you joined us here tonight. For instance, just shorten your name, let us know that so we can match them up a little bit better, but we'll give you an additional chance to win. We do appreciate everyone who attended. The form will, by the way, for registering for the giveaway will close at 7 o'clock. So you have a half an hour to go ahead and fill that out. We do hope you'll be able to attend our session next month on Veteran Services. That's going to be on February 22nd at 6 p.m. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us again tonight and thank Katie and Kat for providing this valuable information. Again, we hope you can join us next month, and thank you very much.